What's going on, YouTube? It is T90 Official, and I'm happy to be back and happy to be bringing another excellent game in Age of Empires 2 to you. I don't know if we've been lucky lately or if it's the fact that I've been putting a lot more effort in my YouTube content, but I have so many games lined up for you. And if you have noticed, I've been putting more effort in my YouTube content, doing a few more YouTube-only casts instead of exports from my streams, and I think it's really working out for everybody. People seem to be enjoying the YouTube content just a little bit more, and also a little bit more views, a little bit more likes, and I've been having a good time as well. So we're going to continue to do that for the foreseeable future. I don't see any reason to stop a good thing. There's so many players that we don't get to see in our casts because we're only casting the top 20, and I'm finding so many games, so many interesting strategies, and so many interesting talking points for you. Now, in the blue, we have Mentalist. A Mentalist is a Canadian player who many of you may not have heard of. A Mentalist is actually a guy I met back in the early days. I was able to have a few conversations with him. I think that he casted with me once. This is back before I even had my own channel, and I was on a community channel. So anyways, I've known about him for a while, but he tends to play team games. He just plays for fun. But man, he's so good, and he's been playing 1v1s recently. So he is here in the blue. And if you've seen the thumbnail, if you've seen the title, you probably have an idea of what's about to go down. I'm going to get to that in just a second. In the red, we have Scotty. Scotty is another player you might not have heard of. We'll be seeing Mentalist and Scotty in another game in a few days. Scotty is lower rated, but lower rated at 2K1, which puts him in the top 60-ish, 70-ish? I think that puts him about like 80-ish actually in the world, which is a crazy statistic. A guy that you've never heard of is 80th in the world from the United States. Just goes to show you how good those top 20 we normally see are. So Scotty is playing as the Mongols. Certainly has the quality to beat Mentalist. He has beat Mentalist before. And if you know anything about these civilizations, Mongols are very, very good here. They hunt 50% faster. So they'll bring in that food, normally go for a fast scout rush, and Turks, unfortunately, just don't have a lot of good things against Mongols. Mongols have a faster feudal, save a faster scout rush than Turks. Mongols have cav archers, camels, knights, and they have the Mangadai and siege later on, and unfortunately Turks in 1v1s, seeing as they're the only civ that does not get access to elite skirm and pikemen, can really be a struggle for them if the game goes late and they are running low on gold. So for that reason, I would say that Mongols probably have a 60% chance in this matchup. Obviously, there's a lot of factors with the maps and whatnot, but that's the percentage I would give. And Mentalist figured, you know what? With that in mind, I need to experiment with something. I need to do something different. And that's exactly what he's going to do. So here's Mentalist. One thing I need to point out here, fortunately for him, he has some walling potential. You see these wood lines? He can take either of them. He could wall into the houses. The golds will be a concern. His 2 golds are here. His stone is here even. I think the other gold is way... I think this is his. Yeah, way out there. So definitely is a game where it'll be tough to lock down that gold. What Mentalist is going to try and do is a huge risk. It's a huge gamble. And the reason it's a gamble is because, A, we're talking about high-level players. Sending a villager forward and being sneaky is not something you get away with easily. And B, because Mongols have this scouting bonus. Scotty's scout will be able to see any sneak villagers a lot easier than any other civilization's scout might. So far for Scotty, he's done everything right. His Dark Age eco is actually perfect. 2 lumber camps, 10 on wood now. He's already on the way to feudal age. And you'll notice the risk. The gamble, the make-or-break move, Mentalist is sending a villager forward. Now, this is risky, and on a different day, Scotty, he might not be pushing in an additional deer, and Scotty might be running forward. But, fortunately for Mentalist, he's going the long way around here, and he's also done the correct thing to guard his scout. Just in case he runs into any wolves along the way, he doesn't want to get woo-woo-wooed. And, of course, if Scotty were to send his scout out. The Scotty had already run forward. I mean, everything about this start has been good for Scotty. It's just that he is unaware of this sneaky villager. He scouted Mentalist base. He went home to push the deer, so he's not greedy. This is where it gets interesting. So I'm going to try and break this down for you guys, all right? There's a lot I have to say about this strategy. The issue with this strategy is it takes a long time to damage your opponent. A Mentalist is just now arriving to this back corner, all right? So the other issue is Scotty would normally notice there's no barracks here. So at the moment, what does he see? At the moment, he sees 2 on gold. 2 on gold, 9 times out of 9. Not even 9 times out of 10. I guess it should be 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10 means that someone is going for man-at-arms. So Scotty's looked all around. He sees the 2 on gold. He doesn't see the barracks, but he can't get past these walls. And so at this point, I'm pretty sure that what he's expecting, did you see he made the militia? What he's expecting is some type of a forward from Mentalist. And when I say forward, I mean barracks in the center of the map. And with 2 on gold, that means militia. He psyched himself out, made his own militia, and he's looking all around now, and he just can't see what Mentalist is shooting for. When in the back of his base, there is a lonely villager, and that lonely villager will start to build up those archers. So Scotty doesn't really have any clue what Mentalist is doing. Maybe he's thinking Mentalist is going for defensive archers or something. But you notice just how long it's taking Mentalist to apply any pressure. It's put him behind big time. I love how he's built the barracks at home, though. Building the barracks forward wouldn't help him much. Also, like the tower commitment, he needs something committed here to defend himself. Scotty is working on full walling his base. If it was any other game, I would say that Scotty has played this perfectly. He's making scouts. He now has the scouts running around. He hasn't taken any losses. His scouting of Mentalist base has been really good. He runs to the right side of the gold, sees a villager, and he'll probably kill this villager as well. So there's a villager kill, and doink! Got him. He's playing this really good. But he doesn't see the archery range. This is so risky. Behind enemy lines. It's unreal. I think I only have 2 other YouTube videos where this has happened. There's one, I think it's literally called Successful Sneaky Archers. Another one might have a similar title. I'm not sure what I'm titling this just yet, but, you know, it's very rare that this works. Because of all the risks associated with it, because of how long it takes to get the military out. But look at this! It's beautiful. I love Mentalist so much. Look. 1 tile. 1 tile. If Scotty had 1 more tile of scouting, he would notice that and probably bring his scouts right back and win the game. Still doesn't know. He sees all the villagers on gold. This is unlike any build order he's ever seen. 8 on gold with no archery range. He's got to be confused. He's looked all around. He prepared for what he could. And now the archers are arriving to his woodline. Now, Mentalist is doing the right thing. You really need to wait for 5 archers of fletching. Because then you can, with enough, you can easily snipe villagers. So you need fletching. He just researched that. Still, Scotty can't see the ranges. It's amazing. He's just house walling behind. 6 archers with fletching means these villagers are donezo. You won't see a single villager survive. And Scotty sees it immediately. He's a good player, like I said. And he says, beautiful. You know your strategy is a good strategy when your opponent says beautiful as he's dying. I did say that no villager would die here. I could have jinxed. Yeah, I totally jinxed Mentalist. My apologies, Mentalist. But just like that, the archers pay off, and there's a tower from Scotty, and boom, villager down. Another villager goes down. Already paid off. So there's a huge risk with the sneaky archers, but if it works well. So now Mentalist is fine at home. He's untouched. The other cool thing about this is Mentalist realizes that Scotty will just make some skirmishers. So to make things more fascinating, he's actually made a stable to make scouts inside of the walls. Oh, and there's a villager house walling here, so he snags him. So this game is very unorthodox, very rare for high-level Age of Empires. And the game that I will show you in a few days which was also between these two players, is also very rare. It shows just how interesting these two players can be. Now, I personally, I don't know if proud is the right word, but it means a lot to me that I'm able to show the world Mentalist, because as I said, before I was popular at all, I knew Mentalist, I knew how good he was. And here's Scotty. He's brought everything back now. He is behind in eco when he should have been ahead after the hunting. And he noticed there's a stable there. Good work from him to snipe an archer. I like that. Mentalist is thinking about sending his archers out just in case things get a little bit too dicey. Now, it's too hard to explain, but quite simply, the eco with archer builds is a lot slower than with scout builds. A big reason that players go for scouts a lot of the time is because of the amount of farms you build early. So that means that Mentalist will still probably have a later castle time. But he has broken out of the walls. Still has these buildings here as well. Yeah, you see the food count now for Scotty. It's a 500. He really doesn't want to lose to this. He probably knows. I was actually streaming it at the time. I told my Twitch audience that I needed to come back. I needed to cast this one for YouTube because there's so many small things that needed to be talked about. But normally with the archer strategy, as these two armies are going to be facing off some more, normally if the sneaky archers work, it's because one player didn't do something correctly. But Scotty, he had scouted Mentalist's base, he scouted the gold, he went back because he thought he was being forwarded. He was genuinely confused. It wasn't him being greedy and not scouting. It was just that good of a sneak. And obviously a little bit of luck as well to not be spotted. That always helps. So now the question is, what does Scotty do? So another thing I didn't have a chance to talk about is, Scotty, he has 3 of his golds forward. Main gold, secondary gold, third gold, all on this part of the screen. It's even more reason why he'd want to fight on the front instead of the back of his base. Now he'll be really confused. He could have new forces coming to his golds and his woods on the front, while he has units being created in the back. It's never good for defending. Alright, so both players are on the way to Castle Age now. The times are almost similar, and Scotty got armor on his... Oh no, he didn't get armor. Yeah, fighting this without armor is bad news bears. There we go. You need to get armor. That was a bad fight. It's never going to be a great fight, though, when he's running up the hill. A Mentalist, perhaps expecting that Scotty would send those archers and skirms to his base, built a second tower here, which is really nice. Because if this army would have gone forward, it would have destroyed all the gold and the stone miners for Mentalist. So far, so good for Mentalist. He's made things interesting, and he's about to make things more interesting for us. Another thing we don't see often in high-level Age of Empires 2 is Turks making use of their free light cav upgrade. If you didn't know, upon arriving to Castle Age, Turk scouts turn into light cav immediately. That is a free upgrade, and that is the same with Hussars when they arrive in the Imperial Age. What does Mentalist really need right now? He needs a little bit of a buffer because there are skirmishers armored up with attack for Scotty. And so Mentalist, he researched armor on his scouts, and both players are going to be committing with melee units and with ranged units. But you'll notice the free light cav upgrade comes in and makes this fight so much better for Mentalist. Scotty is left with the choice of what to do, and he decides to kill whatever archer's remaining. And it's not too bad. He does kill a few more archers. But the plays from Mentalist, man, the absolute plays, that was so cool. That was so cool. And now he'll go for crossbow, now he'll go for bodkin arrow. He doesn't need a huge investment into more light cav. And now all of a sudden, Scotty's down to 5 military, Mentalist has 16, and also Scotty has to deal with the incoming threat of more reinforcements from the back of his base. So, Scotty is going for Mongol cav archers. And I quite like the move. The issue with cav archers is, if you don't have control of the game, you're going to lose momentum. He's already lost momentum before the fight, but now it takes a long time to produce these expensive cav archers. So yes, they're tanky, and yes, Mongol cav archers fire faster. However, it's something that Mentalist could afford to do because he has the time and space. Not really something that Scotty can do all that easily. So as a general rule of thumb, don't go Cav Archers unless you have control over the game, because it takes a lot of time to mass. What else is interesting is Scotty built this tower back here earlier because of the sneak archers, and now he doesn't have stone to build a tower in his gold. But he is getting bloodlines. He has now 11 Cav Archers. Immenseless, he doesn't have that much. He's making a mix of camels and making a mix of more crossbows, but Cav Archers are quick. Crossbows, not so quick. This is what Cav Archers can do. If your units are split up, Mentalist, you're going to have some real problems. 1 crossbow's down, that's 2, that is 3 crossbows down. And Scotty's getting there. He's climbing his way back into the game, but Mentalist is climbing his way back into Scotty's base. And Scotty didn't know about that one. He didn't see it. So yeah, Mentalist lost a few units. But he's also killing villagers, and he's taking Scotty completely off of gold. At this point, Scotty, you just have to dive in and kill this. You gotta know that you're behind an economy. It's almost a now or never situation, in my opinion. He needs to get back to his gold. He needs to get his villagers working again. He's surrounded. And now, Mensos is sending more crossbows to the left-hand side. He had the presence of mind to realize Scotty ran to the left. He's taking wood here. Let's send more crossbows and let's send a knight. Making use of the forward buildings at the perfect time. So he has military on either side, and now Scotty has to choose. So Scotty sends his Cav Archers this way. Mentalist goes, oh, that's great. I'm going to run away with this army and stay here with this army. Beautiful sneak. And okay, never mind. Scotty ends up coming back to his gold. Again, he needs to clean this up now. And Mentalist runs away again, just shifting back and forth, keeping Scotty on the run. And here come the Cav Archers again, and her name's Scotty, and she didn't know either. Oh my god. That was so good. I know that the sneak was impressive, but what Mentalist just did with his army movement and his army positioning was fantastic. How he ran back and forth. That is a sign of a top-notch player. And there's talks of... did I just jinx him? Don't run into the town center and skirmishers, please. Alright. I jinxed him a little bit. But there's talks of a potential Nations Cup in early 2020. It's like the World Cup of Age of Empires. And if Mentalist is in top shape, I can't imagine what Canada will be able to do with Slam, Hera, and Mentalist as a 3v3 team. That would be beastly. Ended up not losing much there. Ended up running back to the top of his hill. Ended up snagging a relic. And, excuse me, economically speaking, he is way ahead now. He's on 2 town centers producing bills. And he is now making Cav Archers. And I mentioned it earlier. When you're ahead, you can afford to tech switch like this. You have the time. Scotty didn't really have the time earlier. Mentalist didn't give that to him. You'll notice now that Scotty's looking to get any damage in, realizing he needs to counterattack. And now Mentalist CA get a few hit in on the hill. I mean, in terms of numbers and HP, Scotty is definitely ahead. But I think Mentalist wants to keep those villagers working, and he should send in some reinforcements. Just enough to hold against this. Yeah, I think it's just enough. Oh, and he's also sending some more units in to Scotty's gold. Now that looked wasteful. I think he lost a lot of units on the way in there, but he's already ahead, and he'll find even more villager picks. That's 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe even 6. There, and one more. No, not to be. 65 villagers for Mentalist, 42 for Scotty. Best part about this is that Scotty couldn't help but be impressed. There was no salt, there was no frustration. He just took his hat off and said, well done, my friend, well done, that was beautiful. I think Mentalist realizes now that he should have the eco lead. He's getting chain barding armor, so he's going for expensive options because he can afford it. So Knights is the choice then. Knights, Camels, and Cav Archers, a lot of different things. The only hope for Scotty now, after falling so far behind because of the sneak, is that his Cav Archers, the Mongol Cav Archers, will benefit from ballistics, and maybe with numbers of 1 single unit, he could kill the 2 or 3 units Mentalist is planning on making. I mean, here, this is really good. Mentalist happens to be placing a TC here, That gets denied and a few villagers get picked off. But still, it's only 69 population for Scotty, and as nice as that is, as not good for his game situation, that's for sure. And again, I think Mentalist will take this fight. Like, whatever. Whatever, as long as he protects the eco, he should have a lot more where that came from. Brilliant, man. I loved this game. It's one of those games where there's too many small things to talk about. I would have to pause the game for 5 minutes to talk about all the small strengths and weaknesses of attempting this. The lack of map control in early game is a big deal when you try this strategy. How slow it is a big deal when you try this strategy. But despite all of these things, Mentalist was able to find himself some success, or a lot of success, not even some success. And now he is getting ballistics for his cav archers. He already has the armor on the knights. Scotty's an experienced player, and he'll know at this point, it's got to be soon. It's got to be soon. He needs to engage with all of his CA and hope that the Mongol firing rate can win out for him. So I guess while we wait for Scotty to take that fight, because it's just a matter of time now. He's about to run forward. He needs these golds. He needs so much. Let me know what you guys think about the strategy. Let me know if you've tried this before, and also let me know what you think about casting some 2K1 games. Because that's what this is, 2K1, 2K2, basically not top 20 games. I found it really interesting. I also find the fact that some of the players aren't quite as perfect allows for some more flexibility. I love the top players in this community, but some of them are just too damn good at times. let's be honest. Sorry, Fat Slob. Nah, this is the fight that Mentalist needed. Again, it is enough when he has 30 more villagers. The armor on the knights is huge. He'll get a convert. He's creating more cav archers from the forward base. He's sending in the knight to raid, probably. This might even be a continuation because of disbelief at this point. The Scotty can't believe this has worked to him. Because it's so rare! It's so rare! And no one wants to be in a YouTube video where you lose to this. Nobody. I like Scotty. I play quite a few games with him. He's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy, and he's a good player. I don't want people to only see this game from him, but this is just too good not to upload, Scotty. I'm sorry. Again, the micro there from Mentalist to send the weak knight back and send in more units. He's now on the wood line. He has a siege workshop here. Completely outclassing Scotty at this point, but Scotty's chance to come back is long since passed. The KD doesn't tell the whole story. It's all about that economy. And I think as there's an army on the left Scotty can't deal with, and now an army on the right, the GG has got to be coming in soon. We saw this earlier in Castle Age. Scotty is simply overwhelmed by the numbers. Yeah, look! He runs away, and then he runs in! Now Scotty has to pick a side, and it wouldn't matter either way, but whatever side he chooses, it means he's dead on the other side, and respect to Scotty, man. I'm not streaming this, but salute goes out to Scotty, because not only did he say that Mentalist's play was beautiful, he now says, well done, GG. I like to see that. It's a sign of respect between the two players. There's so few players who play at the 2K plus level on Voobly. I think there's only a couple hundred, and many of them are inactive, so congratulations to Mentalist. Mentalist is a fun player to watch. That strategy right there is so rare and so rarely successful. The reason it's rarely seen is because of how difficult it is, especially when Scotty's scouting was on point. So that was a treat. What I'm going to do now is go to... I always forget about the fact I have to go to Achievements YouTube. I always forget. Now you get to see all my stream stuff. It's fine. It's no big deal. I swear every freaking time, but there we go. Everything looks good. 110 units killed for Mentalist in this game. More food, more wood, more stone, more gold. This was all because of his successful archer sneak. So I guess what I'll leave you with is I'm going to be putting more and more effort into my YouTube commentary. I want you guys, when you show up to my YouTube channel, to be entertained and not just like, oh, okay, T90 uploaded another video. Because I love my upload schedule. A lot of people like my upload schedule as well. but I'm going to be more picky with content going forward. Still will have stuff that comes from my Twitch streams, if it's good, obviously, but I'm going to pick and choose games because this is simply too good. There's more games lined up, guys, so I hope you guys are ready for future content. And as always, if you like the content, leave a like, leave a comment. I hope to see you in the next one. My salutes go out to you and to you, Mentalist, because you're a badass player. See ya.